Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Marie Fertoni, and I'm the CEO of Get Clients Everywhere at getclientseverywhere.com. I'm happy to have you with me. And this is another one of our Share Your Shine interviews that are featuring the authors of our newest best-selling Amazon book called Inspiring Women Living Unstoppable Lives of Purpose, Power, and Passion. And I am so happy to feature one of our amazing authors, Tashana Thompson, and she has written a really great story that really is very moving and I think is so reflective of so many people out there. And it's one of those things. It's a very. I just shared with her that it's actually similar to my story. I have different circumstances of why that is, but you know, I think so many people have gone through those stages, and what's important is that we've all remained unstoppable. So, Tashana, I'm very happy to have you in the book as part of this project and really happy to have you here today with us on Zoom.
Yay, I'm excited to be with you. Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. Let me tell you a little bit about, Tashana and I met on one of her groups that she does. She does Coffee with Tashana, and it's an opportunity to get together with community and talk about like topics or whatever, just to kind of get to know each other. And I'm not sure if that's where I met you, but that's kind of how I got to know you and how you operate. And, it was just fun. So I invited her because I look at what she's doing for business, and it's pretty great. She is the owner of Business Beyond Business Solutions. Sorry, can't read very well. These are my old eyes here. And she's a marketing expert. She's the chief marketing officer with over 20 years of experience in that. And she focuses on working with women entrepreneurs in the area of marketing, branding, and visibility. And she does a really great job at that. She provides warmth, reliability, and professionalism. And she is dedicated to empowering women. And we all know that now more than ever, we need to go back and re-empower. I don't know if that's the word, re-empower ourselves. You kind of feel like we've slipped back in history and we need to keep moving forward and keep rising the tide for all of us. So I'm very happy to have you here. I want to
But thank you.
feature your chapter. And this is really good because if some of you are kind of feeling, um, I don't know, maybe a bit down or a bit lost, you don't know where you kind of fit in. Here I was one day, now I'm here this day, which I think many people are
Mhm,
experiencing today, given the conversations that I have with a lot of them. Tashana's chapter is called The Power of Relationships, My Path to Rebuilding. And,
mhm,
right there is a great title. It's a good hook to get us
mhm.
into it. And Tashana, can you share a little bit about what happened for you in terms of the power of relationships and what happened to how you use that to rebuild your life in a particular stage of your life?
Right, right. I've been a business owner for 18 years. And about 8 years ago, when I had my daughter, my business went through some turmoil, if you will. My business partner left the business right
Mm.
after I had my baby, like months. Still had a newborn, and she left. And there was just a series of events that really contributed to my financial doom, if you will.
Yeah.
Right? And it was just a really dark place. I have always been a high achieving woman, a pretty good earner, earning a really good salary and making a good living for myself. And I was just in a place where it was just, I could not meet all of my obligations at all, point blank. And I had to make the difficult decision to file for bankruptcy. And there was a tremendous amount of shame that came with that. And even in writing in the book, um, there's still a nakedness that comes with saying, you know, yeah, I do okay, but you know, almost 10 years ago, I was under much different circumstances. And I think it's important, and the reason why I felt so obligated to share is that people are going through all kinds of massive change in their life, right? Whether it be financial, whether it be a divorce or children or aging parents, something is going on within us that we really need to link arms with those around us to get through. And it's the only way.
It's really important. I I'm just 100% with you. You know, it was very challenging for me at one point too, where, I had to call up one of my friends and just say, here's what I need you to do. I need you to pay this, this, and this for me. And I understand the feeling of that shame. And, like I always say the telephone was really heavy and it was like a regular telephone. It wasn't iPhone
Yeah,
days, or smartphone days. Um,
right.
but I got through it and she just looked at me and said, okay, she believed in me or whatever. She knew it was like kind of a blip. But that's when I hired my first business coach. And that's when I said to her, I feel like Humpty Dumpty. I've got all these great things, but this is not working. And so your job is to put Humpty Dumpty together again. You
Right.
talk a lot about the power of relationships.
Mhm.
How have relationships and what did you do to seek out the relationships that really helped and formulate that? Because today, I think many of us have been experiencing almost I don't know, it's a reclusivity, where,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
okay,
I
good.
mean, the isolation that came from COVID, right? You
Yeah,
have to be really intentional about building your relationships. And you talked about coffee with Tashana, and I actually started that during COVID
yeah.
as a way of, linking arms and building community with folks. Um, and here's the thing, you don't decide to build relationships with people when you need them.
Very good. Say that again. That's a key
You
word.
do not decide to build relationships with people when you need them. You don't decide, I need this client, so I'm going to build a relationship that is inauthentic, that is not heart centered because I need something. It's transactional, right? When I think about relationship marketing, it's all about caring enough, right, to build a relationship on the front end. So thankfully, whether it be with my family or with, the very few clients that I had at the time, I had some really solid relationships that, I was able to, that were open and authentic, and I was able to be myself and to tell the truth, and say, like, I'm really struggling. I'm looking for a job. I talk about that in the book. Like, I'm looking for a job. Um, do you have referrals? Do you have extra work? How can I be of support to you? To pull myself out of this state. So I think that, having already built the building blocks of having really good relationships that I could call on, um, meant everything and continues to.
Yeah, and it continues to, I always say to people in one of the training programs that I do, my networking savvy program, it really is all about building relationships. It's not, and you use the word transactional. Yes, you make a transactional sale with something like that, but too many people are trying to get the transaction before there's even like, hey, do you even know my name? You know,
Exactly. Take me
uh,
out to dinner first, right? Like the genuine concern and care. And you can't feel that for everybody. Let's just be, all open and honest.
yeah,
You don't feel a connection with everyone you meet, that's deep enough that you want to, invite them to coffee or whatever the case may be. That's like the first inkling of a relationship. Um, but those that you do, it's really important to invest in.
yeah, I think it makes such a difference. I think even today with all the bots that are out there that are, the automated kinds of lead generation things. I mean, it's amazing how many people have asked me if I've ever thought of being a coach. I've been a coach that's coaching people
Exactly.
was
No, I
cold.
never thought of that.
No, tell me about it.
Exactly.
It's kind of funny, but I think one of the things that, you know, um, I noticed in your chapter was you actually specified certain groups of people where you really linked arms with. And one of them was your spiritual community.
Absolutely.
You talked about that. And one of the things, not only with the connections, but that you also did the inner work to begin to bring out and to do some of that healing where you said faith and prayer and meditation were things that you did regularly and that you built in time daily to uh, you carved out time daily to be with your creator. And I
Mhm.
thought that was great because, from creator comes your creation. And,
Absolutely.
so it's great that you did that. And then you had your family, you had your relationships in your family. And so those were ones that you could lean on, you could be with, and you've probably been with them for years in terms of what they
Absolutely. Absolutely. And everyone doesn't have a good relationships with their family.
correct. And
And
then
you
you had
know,
your friends, you had
yeah,
your business community, your clients that you've worked with over the years, and just colleagues and things like that. And I think when I talk about it, I always talk about it with like Marie's team. I have the Marie team, and that's my
hmm
friends and my family and my dentist and my lawyers and my colleagues and my
right,
coaches. And, it, that's what makes us really beautiful. And we really tap in. We can really get that we're not alone,
absolutely.
although it feels like we're alone, and it's
Yeah.
hard to sometimes do that. But what I love is you have a really great story of resilience in your chapter. And resilience today, a lot of people talk about it, and it can almost be a trite word, it's like, oh, it's
hmm
hackneyed, it's like people use it all the time. But it's so important because if we didn't have resilience, we would never have lasted through the centuries, to be who we are. And we need to be resilient now in terms of where,
Absolutely.
we're at. So how would you describe like what resilience has meant to you?
Everything, you know, like literally everything. When having the ability to say, um, let's keep going. Let's keep, we're going to pull ourselves up literally, going through postpartum depression, which I talked about a little bit in the book as well. Like literally having to physically pull your body up to make yourself do the things, right? To pick up the phone and make the calls, to, you know, taking care of the baby was easy, but taking care of myself wasn't, right?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, it really has meant everything, and being able to connect with my source, with my creator, in order to have the gumption, the energy like that, that doesn't come just from me, right? That comes from, the joy of the Lord is my strength, right? So having that connection and being intentional about it. I was just having a conversation with my husband over the weekend, and we were at a marriage retreat, and he said to me, "That is something I really admire about you, that you take time, with the Creator every day." And I said, "Huh." We look at ourselves. I'm not perfect at it. Some days I don't make it at 8 o'clock on the dot. All the things, but it's really important and it fuels the resilience. Like where else do you get it from? I don't know for me where else I would get it from if I weren't tapped into something larger than myself.
Well, I think you said it well. It's like it refuels you.
Hmm
It kind of repurposes us when we really do that. So I think it's important. And what you talk about there is building habits. I mean, none
hmm
of us are perfect with anything. It's like
No,
bicep curls, who's going to do those every day? But, small things done consistently in strategic places create major
absolutely,
impact.
absolutely.
And I was talking with one of the other authors this morning, and we talked about part of one of the words in her chapter is unstoppable.
Hmm
And in creating this book, which again for people is called Inspiring Women Living Unstoppable Lives with Purpose, Power, and Passion. We didn't set out, or I didn't set out to put this collective together to say it was going to be about living unstoppably. But that's what people ended up sharing in their stories. So it became a theme that was almost, it was arising from
Right.
all the stories. And so you talk a lot about that's what it took for you is like to keep going, to take those small actions.
Because that
Um,
resilience makes us unstoppable, right?
That's it, you know? So it's just really, it's good. And I think today I know in the conversations that I've had with potential clients, sometimes colleagues that I've known for a long time, even the WPDN community that, I've been running for a number of years, in talking with the members, there's a lot of people that they really are in the space of resilience now. How do I keep going? It's different. The market has changed. The landscape of business is different. The way we're doing things is different. Some people are being X'd out of certain things, and AI comes in, and just a variety of things that really happen. And I think a lot of people that are not fully conscious of all the possibilities around them, or maybe well trained,
Right.
they have stopped
Oh,
and
absolutely.
they've just gone, they've lost that gumption, that energy to be able to do that. And so I'm hoping that the many chapters and the authors that are part of this book collective can really make a difference. And our job is to really get that in the hands of a lot of people and have some fun. I was thinking of like doing a summit, live summit with some of the authors.
Mm,
I just have a lot of ideas of like, what if this were a time to really blast this out, not just like individually, but as a collective to blast
absolutely.
it out. So,
We
it's
only
really
really
great.
do things, especially in times like this, in relationship, collectively, right? Um, Going together, you know, two are stronger than one.
We are
So,
stronger than one.
so being able to go together and really serve in some really dark spaces as that inspiration, as that hope, um, modeling that resilience for other women.
And for men too, because a lot of men get
Absolutely.
stopped. Um,
Absolutely.
I was really pleased. I was sharing that, I've gotten some nice messages from some of my male colleagues who said that they enjoyed the book and that they got it and they gave it to their wives or they gave it to their sister or they gave it to their daughters. And
I
I thought
love
that was
it.
really pretty
That's
great. So,
awesome.
I
Yeah,
love that. Tell us, Tashana, in the work that you're currently doing with your business, can you tell us who your ideal clients are? Who do you most want to talk to and help?
sure, sure. So I work primarily with women-led organizations, both small businesses and nonprofits. So a lot of service-based small businesses, and we really come in and serve as their entire marketing department for both the small businesses and nonprofits, helping them build strategy and then implement that strategy that we built together.
It's really great. And if people wanted to reach out to you personally, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Sure. They can reach me via email, which I'm sure you'll include somewhere. And they can also find me on LinkedIn and at my business website, beyondsolutions.biz, B-I-Z.
Very good. Beyondsolutions.biz. Well, this is great. I could talk to you all day because we could
Okay.
really like dive in, but you shared a lot, and I just want to acknowledge you for sharing that. I always say, you might have heard me say this on some of my other interviews, that people that have read the chapters say, "Oh, I didn't know that about you." And
Yeah,
somebody said this to me the other day and said, "I've known this woman all these years. How is it that I did not know that about her?" And that's the beauty of when people come together and really share something that's very personal. We never know the difference we make. We never know who's going to be sitting under the tree that we kind of
I know,
grow,
right?
you
And
know?
that vulnerability builds connection, which builds relationships.
Very good. That's a great place to end on. Vulnerability creates the relationships and that builds the connection. So, really terrific job. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. For everybody that's listening, inspiring women, living unstoppable lives of purpose, power, and passion. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it in Barnes and Noble. And then you can also reach out to Tashana because she'll have her books and she's happy to share them with you as well. Again, this is Marie Fertoni with Get Clients Everywhere. And I'm here to help you get more clients, make more money, and live with more joy and freedom. With that, see you next time.